All I gotta say is, James McAvoy, Speak No Evil is about an American family who are invited to spend the weekend at a country estate of a charming British family they befriended on vacation. What begins as a dream holiday soon warps into a snarled psychological nightmare. The film stars James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, Scoot McNairy, Alix Lefler, Franciosi, and Dan Hough, and was directed by James Watkins, and he's done films like idyllic and The Woman in Black. When I first heard that Speak No Evil was announced for a reboot, I honestly was really shocked because the original one came out only 2 years ago. It was the Danish film that came out on Shudder. I remember getting a screener for that film and watching it and was completely blown away. And the ending of that film has always stuck with me, as it is just a dreadful ending, and I know that does divide some fans. So when going into this film, I really wanted to see how they actually would portray this film, because that film was very dark. And with this film, I really felt like they were going to really water it down. It was great to see James McAvoy back on screen again. And what I really did like about this film is ultimately you have two families here who meet on vacation. They're in Italy. And I'll start off by saying that the cinematography in this film is absolutely great. I love seeing the cinematography of Italy, if it is shot and filmed in Italy, which I'm not really actually sure if it was, but the scenery that they have in here, it looks absolutely great. There's a scene where they're actually at a dinner table and they're showing like the mountainside and they're showing everything with the city and everything. The performances all around here are very solid and really what help make this movie what it is. James McAvoy, he is absolutely brilliant in this role. He really knows how to go from 0 to 100 in this film, and he has a wife played by Franciosi, and she does a great job as well. She was in another film that I saw earlier this year called Stop Motion, and she has another stellar performance here. They have a son named Ant, played by Dan Hough, and he does a really good job as well when he's in Terror or Perel, or just when he's trying to actually talk to the daughter of the other couple named Agnes, just how he really communicates with her, the fact that obviously he can't speak and he's mute. It's very interesting to see their interactions and just how he really handles his character. I thought he was great as a child actor. Sometimes they can come off really kind of cringe, and I thought he did an excellent job. You also have Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy, and they have a rocky relationship as they have had some cheating in their relationship, but also I thought that Scoot McNairy's character, he was very much a wimp here. It's very amazing to see that they're actually a couple and just how they really relate to the other couple. It's just very interesting to see on screen and really just comparing and contrasting between both the couples here. You have one couple that seems very carefree and very, open to certain things. And then you have another couple that seems kind of uptight a little bit, and just seeing them really interact, you can really tell that the couple is really driving them crazy, and that's exactly how the original is as well. And you definitely see that throughout this film, as it's very much a subtle film that really just gradually keeps building and building and building. It takes quite a bit of time for it to really go off the rails and just go bananas, and it takes about, I would say, a good 70 minutes for that to actually happen. So you have to have a lot of patience with this film, but I knew that going into this film because the original film was slow as well. Some of the differences between this film and the original is this film, it chose to really be shot mostly during the daytime, which I thought was a very interesting choice, but I think that's also too because the tone of this film is a lot different than the original film. Now, that original film, it's a lot more darker, it's a lot more serious, and there's a lot of difference between culture values because in the original film, you have a Dutch and Danish couple, and then here you have an American family and a British family, which really differs too because I know there was frustrations in the original film where there is a culture difference, obviously, with like being polite and not knowing when to leave, versus in this film, which the American family, they definitely want to get up and leave and they don't like this British family, but there's all these different circumstances and different coincidences that actually happen that keep pulling them back to the house. There's a big theme here of family dynamic and how you actually raise your children. So you have Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy. Obviously, they don't have the best of relationship. Obviously, she's cheated on him, and she definitely wears the pants in their relationship. And obviously there is some reluctance in certain activities and certain things that they actually do together that they just don't jive and connect well. Their daughter Agnes has anxiety, and that is very prevalent in this film because she has a stuffed animal bunny, in which that becomes a big plot in the film, in which a coincidence and certain things in which they have to be turned back to the house when they're trying to actually escape from this house. Then you have James McAvoy and his wife, and James McAvoy, he's very much large and in charge, and he's going to say what he wants to say. He's in control, and the way that he talks to his son Ant, especially in the trailer when they're doing this dance routine and he absolutely freaks out, and just the way he treats him overall, you can really tell that there's built up trauma, physical abuse, in which I really think that he's doing that to his wife as well, because you see her lift up her shirt, she's got bruises all over her, they talk about their sex life. I think he's completely controlling towards his wife, and I honestly think that because of that control, there's physical abuse with that as well, and I honestly think she's just there for the ride and just listening to him. Whatever he says goes, and that's really how it is. From a negative standpoint, all I can really say is the fact that obviously it's a little bit slower. Did I want a little bit more craziness and maybe some darker parts in this film? Sure. Did I like the movie overall? Yeah, I really did. The performances really helped this film. The third act is completely different than I thought it would actually go. And I really have to say this. If you like this film and you haven't watched the original, go and watch the original. Even if you don't like to read subtitles, go watch that original. I'm telling you, it's so much darker than this film. And what actually transpires in that last act of that original film, it is absolutely really dark, and you may be shocked. But I will say this, without spoiling anything, when it gets to the third act, there is a certain scene that they actually pay tribute to the original third act of the original film. So as far as my score for this film, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it for what it was, good performances, and I think they did a pretty good job. Obviously not as dark as the original film, but I had a good time with this. It was a good experience, and I think you guys should definitely go check it out. But if you have checked out the film, what did you guys think about this film? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? Leave any and all comments down below. And if you've seen the original, how do you feel it compares to the original? But if you haven't, are you going to check out the original now that you've seen this film? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.